This is the true incident of one night of my life which changed the entire life of my family. Every evening, as part of our bedtime routine, I would check on my 7-year-old son to make sure he felt safe and secure. It was a comforting ritual that bonded us and settled him into a peaceful night's sleep. One night, however, as I approached his room, a sense of unease washed over me. The hallway seemed darker than usual, and his usually welcoming room felt strangely ominous under the dim light of his nightlight. When I entered, I immediately noticed his change in demeanor. Instead of greeting me with his usual smile and energetic chatter, he was unusually quiet, his little form tensed under the covers as if trying to hide from something. His voice, barely above a whisper, broke the heavy silence. "Dad, check under the bed," he said, his words trembling with fear. But I never believe his ghosts. At first I thought my son was joking with me. That's why I didn't take it seriously what he said to me. But I was surprised to see the fear on his face. I had never seen such fear on his face before. He kept telling me again and again out of fear, "Dad, check under the bed." It was an unusual request that terrified me. With a mix of reluctance and deep concern for my son, I knelt down beside his bed. I hoped to find nothing and provide the reassurance that would soothe his fears. What I expected was a routine check. What followed was anything but. As I peered under the bed, my eyes met with a ghostly figure that seemed almost ethereal. The shock of seeing such an apparition right in my son's room was paralyzing. Its eyes, hollow yet piercing, stared back at me, chilling me to the bone. My entire body froze in place, my heart hammering against my chest so loudly I feared it would wake the whole house. The figure seemed to flicker in the dim light, as if it were made of smoke and shadows, barely tethered to this world. Realizing my son's eyes were fixed on my face, searching for reassurance, I forced myself to move. The terror I felt was mirrored in his wide, fearful eyes. His small hand clutched the blanket tighter, his knuckles whitening from the grip. Attempting to mask my own fear, I gently told him that everything was going to be okay. My voice was more steady than I felt. Inside, my thoughts raced as I tried to calm both of us, despite the fear clawing at my back. With a deep breath, I summoned every ounce of courage I had left and glanced under the bed once more. The space was empty now, as if the ghostly figure had been a figment of my imagination. But the cold dread lingering in the air told a different story. With my son still clinging to his blanket in fear, I began a thorough search of the room. I checked every possible hiding spot and corner to ensure we were indeed alone. The room turned up empty, but the tension hung heavily in the air. As I moved around the room, a chill ran down my spine when I stepped into a noticeably colder spot near his bed. This unexplained drop in temperature added another layer of mystery to the already tense atmosphere. Sitting beside my son on his bed, I gently encouraged him to talk about what he had seen and heard. His small voice trembled as he recounted whispers and fleeting shadows that had visited him on other nights. We hadn't talked about it before, and now I regretted not asking him sooner about his nightly experiences. Resolved not to leave my son alone, I decided to stay in his room for the night. The sense of unease was palpable, and every shadow seemed to flicker with unknown intentions. It was a promise of safety, a father's vigil over his frightened child. The night was long and filled with restless vigilance. Every creak and whisper of the house seemed amplified, as if the very walls were speaking. We lay there, eyes wide open, jumping at the slightest sound, our hearts racing with every imagined movement. As dawn broke, the fear that had gripped us slowly began to dissipate. The light seemed to wash away the shadows of doubt and terror that had plagued the night. Yet, while relief washed over us, the memory of the night's terror lingered, a silent specter of the past evening's fear. Concerned for our safety and determined to find answers, I reached out to paranormal experts. They arrived with equipment and a quiet confidence, ready to uncover whatever secrets our home held. Their presence brought a new sense of hope that perhaps we could find a solution. The investigation yielded unsettling confirmations of unusual activity. In an attempt to reclaim our home and peace of mind, we conducted a cleansing ritual. It was a step towards healing, an effort to erase the traces of fear and restore normalcy. We carefully followed each step, burning sage and reciting incantations, hopeful that these actions would clear our space of the eerie presence. Reflecting on these events, I am struck by how deeply that night shook our feeling of safety within our own walls. Sharing this story is not just a recount of a chilling encounter, but a step towards reclaiming the comfort and security of our home. Dear viewers, if you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe my YouTube channel, Mr. Horror Hood, to watch more such fearful and real-life experience videos. Thanks for watching. See you in next video.